Welcome back to Everybody Loves Scott. Today I've got the Templar M out here, and what I want to talk about is actually a long-term review. I've owned the bike for almost 2 years now, so I think it's time to talk about what I feel is as far as the reliability, servicing, things that I've done to it, options that I put on the bike and everything. And one thing I definitely want to let you know about is I do like the bike. It's a powerful bike with the carburation, and I know I had a video as far as rejetting the carburetor and everything. This bike says it only has 19 horsepower, but I would say seat of the pants, it's somewhere in the low to mid 20s. This thing's got some fire to it. So let's go out to the desert. I'll meet you out there and we'll get this review started. Welcome to Everybody Loves Scott's, where I review China bikes and I document the experience of the bike.
When you've gotten what you want, maybe I should start over.
Okay, so here we are. We're out on the trail, and I got the Templar. This is where I pretty much take the Templar. I keep it out in the dirt because it's actually not street legal. It can be, but I just choose not to register it for that. So this is going to be our long-term review, essentially 2 years. Only about 255 miles, but you got to figure that's all off-road. So what I want to talk about is some of the servicing and little changes that I made on it and everything, and talk about that, things you may want to do to your bike, and my overall take of what I think about the bike. So with that, let's head down a trail here. So some of the things that I've done to the bike, and I put this in older videos, but it's a good time to go over that kind of stuff, is initially, when you get your bike, you're going to change your oil, obviously. I've done that a couple times. You want a quality oil in it, especially after break-in. Change the spark plug, put an NGK on there. You want a quality spark plug. It seems to run better. The one big thing, and I did a video just on that rear shock alone. Now that is something that definitely has to be replaced. Unless you're a 100-pound rider, you can probably get away with it. However, at a 180-pound rider, that thing would just bottom out. Most riders using this bike, you're going to want to probably change that out. So the other thing I changed out was the front forks, great forks, upside down forks, is I replaced the fluid. So it wasn't just a matter of replacing the fluid. Got to keep an eye on this here. Put some rocks out here. I replaced the fluid with a 15 weight oil to match up for my 180 pound as a rider. But also, when you drain oil out, you'll find out that when they put the bike together, it wasn't necessarily the right amount. One fork had a different level than the other fork, and that can be a problem. So based on that, that made an extreme difference. So, I recommend doing that as well. The other thing was, when you first get your bike, is I noticed that the gearing, you go through those first 3 gears, just lickety-split, and you're only doing 15, 20 miles an hour. So I did change out the gearing. Didn't actually do a video on that, but I changed the rear sprocket. It came with a 49, so I put a 44. And I got to say that made a big difference in itself. So the front is a 13. I tried to change it out to a 14. But I got to say the best combination was the 13-44 for off-road. Now if you're going to want to go higher speed on the road, you might want to go to a 14 in the front. But it's a really tight fit, and you do need to get your Dremel tool out to make a little extra room for the chain in there. So my recommendation is, if you're going to make any adjustments, just stick to the back. And if you're going to use it on the road, I'd probably go down to about a 40. Now the other thing that I replaced out was the chain guide. And the reason I did that is I noticed the hard plastic that they had in there, it really made a lot of noise with the chain. It's not a problem. I just didn't like the sound. And maybe from going with a smaller sprocket,
That might have brought the chain down closer to the chain guide. I'm trying to pay attention here. And also with the chain guide on the whole swing arm. Because it's hard plastic, it makes a lot of noise. But I noticed after changing that out, seems to be much better. Don't have all that noise. But the gearing itself made a big difference. Now I did put some accessories on the bike, but that's just for my personal preference with the hand guards. The grips, I definitely like the grips because I put some soft grips on there compared to the hard plastic that they came with. You know, that's a cheap upgrade and it seemed to make a big difference. So these are some of the things that need to be done. Does that mean it's a bad bike and it needs to, you know, the whole Chinese experience is low quality? That ain't it at all. Any bike that you're going to get, you're going to want to do these things. So it's really not that big of a deal. That's the way I look at it. Any bike you're going to get a big 4 bike, and you're going to, you know, do the same things. You're probably going to want to adjust the forks to fit you. You can start with fork oil. I know I had some people say that you got to send your forks in and get them revalved and everything. That's not necessary. So you can just change the fluid, do those kinds of things. And it really helps out the performance on your bike. But any bike you're going to do that with. The gearing might not be suited to what you want. Re-gear it. Well, we got someone else out here during the week. Usually it's not crowded. So yeah, those are some of the things that I've done to the bike. Now, as far as some, you know, it's really awesome is they got the, I like the wheels and tires. Everybody usually complains about the tires. And, you know, with my other bike, with the Hawk, those were cheap tires. I replaced them out immediately. But with this here, with these knobby tires, I don't have any problem with it. They got aluminum wheels. They're more durable, lightweight. I think they're just more than sufficient. It's got a nice swing arm on it. It is a steel swing arm, a steel frame, and that, you know, adds a little weight, but this isn't a motocross bike. You got to remember that. This is an off-road bike. You can use it on the road. Because it's got a steel frame and all that, yeah, you got a 275-pound bike when it's fully loaded up with gas and oil. But that's not a big deal. That's not bad at all. Because obviously your motocross bike will be 220, 225, but that isn't what this is for. Let's get up this hill here. Beautiful location to see everything on this Arizona desert. Everybody got their four-wheelers out here. But overall, this bike, the fun factor, you can't beat it. You know, we're talking only $2,000. Okay, say $2,500. You put a few accessories on there, you pay your taxes, whatever. Prices change, but $2,500 for the fun factor, you can't beat this. The quality of the bike, absolutely. I recommend it. These are servicing things that you do to the bike, so it's not a big deal. Okay, paying attention again. But for the money, the fun factor, you can't beat this thing. And that's why I did some videos comparing this against some of the Japanese brands that you spend a lot more money. I like saving money. That's not a problem. And guess what? It's fun. I enjoy it. And see, with the suspension getting through this really rough, not a problem at all though. Making those adjustments made a big difference. And I love the exhaust sound. You know, for a 4-stroke, she sounds really good. And if you want to make it sound like a 2-stroke, I did that in my other off-road video of this bike. You just put it on double speed, and she sounds like a 2-stroke. But yeah, for 2 years that I've been riding this bike, very pleased with it. To me, that's a long-term review. You know, because anybody can review a bike after a month and give their report on it. But 2 years, she's holding up great. She's an awesome bike. Made some little changes to it. Definitely recommend it. So now, just a little riding. Now, if you like these videos, don't forget to like and subscribe and share it with friends and let other people know what you think of the videos. Any questions or concerns, go ahead and leave me a comment. I'll respond to everybody on those. Because one thing's for sure is when I do reviews on these bikes, I try to be a fair, honest review. Give you the straight scoop. I'm not just going to say everything's good. And if you appreciate that, this is the place to be.